Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Chem Insider. In today's video we are going to discuss about the second theory of chemical bonding. In all this video up to this, in all the videos up to the previous video, we have just discussed about the Lewis and Koshel theory of chemical bonding. Now we are going to discuss about the second theory, that is valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, which is also called as VSEPR theory. So the name of this theory is valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, also known as VSEPR theory. So this valence shell electron pair repulsion theory was proposed by two scientists named Sidgwick and Powell. Sidgwick and Powell in the year 1940, and it required certain changes. Therefore, in the year 1957, two more scientists named Gillespie and Nihlholm made certain changes in this particular theory and proposed structures of certain component. So as we have discussed in the earlier videos, the Lewis or Koshel theory was not supposed to be clearly possible, was not useful for proposing the exact shape of the given compound or the orbital. Therefore, in the year 1940, Sidgwick and Powell come across the electrons present in the valence shell of a given atom, and they propose that the shape of the given atom or a compound depends completely upon the electron pairs present in its valence shell. Sidgwick and Powell in the year 1940 proposed that the electrons present in the valence shell of an atom is the reason which we can use to denote the shape of the given molecule or a compound. For that consideration, what they said was, the number of electron pairs present in the valence shell will be arranged in certain type of physical arrangement which gives away the complete geometry of that given compound. Hence, they proposed certain postulates in order to explain that particular theory, and they named them as valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. So, we clearly understand valence shell electrons pair, but what is this repulsion theory? So, whenever you come across electrons present in an atom, all we know is two similar charges will be repulsive in nature. That is, two negative charges are always repelled by one another, whereas opposite charges will be attracted by one another. If you consider for a valence shell of an atom, let us consider for let us take for an example of chlorine. It has 7 electrons. It has 7 electrons in its valence shell of 3s and 3p. It has 2 electrons on 3s and 5 electrons on 3p, right? So these 7 electrons present in the valence shell of fluorine might be repelling with one another. As we know, they are always present in the pair. Therefore, these electron pair will be repelling one another, and therefore they have to be arranged in certain phenomenon. Therefore, Sidgwick and Powell proposed this particular theory, and further in the year 1957, Gillespie and Nihlholm said that it is not just the bonding pair electron which involve in the shape of a given compound, it also the lone pair of electrons which may also involve in the determining or describing the shape of the given compound or molecule. And according to that, they gave away certain geometries. Now, first we'll discuss about the postulates which were given by them. So the first postulates of this VSEPR theory states that the first point is the shape of the molecule completely depends upon the valence electron pair present in the given atom of the molecule. The shape of the molecule depends upon the completely depends upon the valence electrons present in the given orbital of the molecule. That is, if you are considering lone pair of electrons and bond pair of electrons, both were included for describing the shape of the given molecule. The second point, these electron pairs which were present in the valence shell, clearly had some electron cloud. If you consider this as an electron, it will be having certain electron cloud around it, right? So therefore, one more electron should be present. If one more electron present here and it also has certain electron cloud around it, what it does is it clearly repels around those electron clouds. Therefore, in the second postulate they said that the electron pairs present consist of certain electron cloud which repel one another, other electron pairs. So if we consider these two as one electron pair, so these two get combined to create a complete cloud like this, and this cloud will be repelling the other electron pair cloud. Therefore, in the second point they stated that the electron pair consists certain amount of negative cloud, that particular cloud will be repelling the other electron pairs. And in the third point, what he said was, in the third postulate, these electron pair arrange themselves. In their particular space diagram. These electron pair arrange themselves in such a manner they are present at a maximum distance. They are present at the maximum distance with minimum repulsion. So the electron pairs are arranged in space. With minimum repulsion and maximum distance. Now, if you consider a valence orbital of an atom, and it has, let us say, 8 electrons. So there are 8 electrons, that means there are 4 pair of electrons. So if you consider those 4 pair of electrons, those 4 pair of electrons cannot be arranged in such a way, like as I have written over here. That is because these two pair have maximum distance and minimum repulsion, but these two have minimum distance and maximum repulsion. Therefore, they arrange themselves in accordingly with their minimum repulsion experienced and which will represent the maximum distance possible. Therefore, in the third point they said was, the electron pairs present in the valence shell arrange themselves in space in such a way the two electron pair experiences minimum repulsion and it has a maximum distance between one another. So this was the third postulate. And in the fourth postulate, what we observe is, when you consider valence non-bonding electrons present, if you consider non-bonding electrons present in a molecule, like for example, if you consider the molecule of oxygen. If you consider the molecule of oxygen, water molecule, it has two lone pair of electrons, right? It means the two non-bonding pair of electrons. These two lone pair of electrons are completely localized on the particular atom, central atom. So if we consider this as a central atom, it means these three atoms have a center of oxygen. Therefore, if the central atom has lone pair of electrons, then those lone pair of electrons will be localized on that particular oxygen itself. And if it has lone pair of electrons between two different atoms, like for example in case of carbonates, this particular postulate was useful to explain the resonance structure. That means they said that if there are non-bonding pair of electrons present in a given central atom, it will be localized on that atom itself. And if the non-bonding electron is moving across two orbitals, then it will be showing certain amount of resonance. So therefore, in the fourth point they said was, The non-bonding pair of electrons will be localized at the central atom, and those which are bonding will be delocalized in the molecule. That is, non-bonding electrons will be localized. Localized means they will be not going to move from one position to other. Non-bonding electrons are localized, whereas bonding electrons are delocalized. Bonding electrons are delocalized. Delocalized means they will be moving around two or more atoms. And the fifth point which they said was, if you consider a single covalent bond, then the electron present in that particular bond is called single pair. If you consider single covalent bond, then the electrons present in them will be called the single pair electron. If two or more atoms have multiple pair of electrons shared between them, then those are called super single pairs. If there is having just one pair of electron, they are called single pair. If they have more than one electron, then they are called super single pair. Okay, that was about the fifth postulate. And further, after proposing these five particular postulates, Gillespie and Nyholm further found out that if you consider for the repulsion of electrons in their valence shell, they have a variation when compared to lone pair electrons and bond pair electrons repulsion. We know these electrons will be repelling one another, but the amount of repulsion between themselves is varying with respect to their nature of bonding and non-bonding. And according to that, they said was the lone pair electrons, the lone pair denoted as LP, the lone pair electrons will be experiencing a maximum repulsion between those two when compared to a lone pair bond pair electron, which is greater than compared to bond pair electrons. That means the tendency of repulsion in case of electrons present in the valence shell varies in the order of lone pair repulsion is greater than lone pair bond pair, which is greater than bond pair. So the electron repulsion is maximum for lone pair electrons and minimum for bond pair electrons. If a molecule has lone pair and bond pair, electrons on the central atom, it will be experiencing all these three types of repulsion in its valence shell electrons. So that particular theory is nothing but the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Okay, the electrons present in the valence shell will be experiencing certain amount of repulsion, which led to the discovery of explaining structures of atom or shapes of molecule with respect to their valence electrons present in them. Okay, so this is all about the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Now, how is this particular orbitals of electrons or the valence shell electrons useful for denoting the structure? For that, let us take certain examples of different type of molecule which have certain amount of lone pair electrons, those which have no lone pair of electrons, etc. So now, if you are need to considering certain compounds, we come across certain compounds which have lone pair of electrons in their central atom and those which don't have any lone pair of electrons in their central atom. So therefore, we classify all the compounds present in the entire universe as two types. One which have lone pair of electrons in their central atom and one which have no lone pair of electrons on their central atom. So now, if you have certain elements which have lone pair of electrons in their central atom, then those elements are denoted as ABE. If the compounds have lone pair of electrons, if compounds have lone pair of electron, then they are denoted by the general formula AX, BY, EZ. AX, BY, EZ, where A central atom, where A will be the central atom, B non-central atom, E lone pair of electron. lone pair of electrons. If compounds have lone pair of electrons present in the central atom, they will be denoted by the formula AX, BY, EZ, where X, Y, Z will be integers, that is the number of A present, B present and E present, where A is the central atom, B is the non-central atom and E is the lone pair of electron. If compounds have no lone pair of electrons, if compounds have no lone pair of, there is no lone pair of electrons present in the compound, then they are denoted by the formula AX, BY. AX, BY. Okay. Certain compounds with certain molecular formula will be denoting certain amount of geometry, certain type of geometry. First, what we'll do is, we'll first discuss about the geometry come across by the molecules which don't have any lone pair of electrons in the central atom. That is because, as we have discussed just now, if there is presence of lone pair of electron, there will be certain difference in the repulsion between the valential electron. Therefore, now let us just consider those molecules which have just the bond pair electron, no lone pair of electron, and later we'll come across the molecules which have both lone pair and bond pair. That is because we consider those with no lone pair of electrons as the major one or the primary one, and then we can relate those geometry with those containing the lone pair. And therefore we say that if the compound contains lone pair of electron, they clearly have a tendency to have a distorted geometry when compared to the compounds which have no lone pair of electron. Now let us take certain examples of those of molecules, shape of the molecules with no lone pair of electrons on the central atom. For the first example, let us take AB2, which has two pair of bonding electrons. So the electron arrangement in case of AB2 molecule, it has to be present as far as possible. Therefore, AB2 molecule will be of the type ABA. So the angle between these two bonds will be 180 degree. Okay, since A is the central atom, these two should be present as far as possible. And if the molecule is of the type AB2, that is triatomic molecule, the only possibility for them to be in the farthest distance is 180 degree, that is a linear geometry. Okay, so therefore the shape of this molecule is PAB, is called the linear geometry. For example, beryllium difluoride. Beryllium difluoride will be of this kind of molecule. Okay, now if you consider for a different type such as AB3, if you take the consideration of AB3 molecule, so it is like center at one position, A, the central atom at the center, and 3 electrons should be present in the space. So therefore the possibility is placing them at 120 degree from one another. So the angle between AB and AB bond will be at 120 degree, which is the maximum position. This particular geometry is called trigonal planar. This particular shape is called as trigonal planar geometry, and example for this particular compound is boron trifluoride. Okay, so this is the type geometry of the compound of the type AB3. Example is boron trifluoride. Next, if you consider for an example AB4, if you consider for an example of AB4, there are two types of geometry possible in this case. One is placing all the 4 in 4 direction, and the other one is tetrahedral geometry. AB4 molecule shows two types of geometry. One is such as like this, and the other one is of the type tetrahedral geometry, that is a pyramid type geometry. So even though if you consider this diagram on the plane is not the same, but if you consider for the example of methane molecule, it will be of this type of geometry. Okay, this particular tetrahedral geometry we'll be discussing about that particularly in the organic chemistry chapter. So whenever you consider AB4 type of molecule, usually we come across the tetrahedral geometry but not this square planar geometry. This particular geometry is called the square planar, but we not usually come across this particular geometry because the bond angle in this case is 90 degree. The bond angle in this case of AB4 is 90 degree, but in this case the bond angle is 109 degree 28 minutes. So as I said earlier, the electron pair should be present as far away from one another as possible. Therefore, if you consider this, the bond angle will be 90 degree. If you consider this, the bond angle is 190 degree, 28 minutes. Therefore, the more preferred one is the tetrahedral geometry, but not the one with 90 degree angle. Therefore, the geometry for AB4 type of molecule is tetrahedral. Geometry is tetrahedral. Example, CH4 molecule. Example, CH4 molecule. Now for the molecules of the type AB5. Now for the molecules of the type AB5. AB5 molecule come across the shape of A, B, B. So these three bonds are 120 degree with one another. These three will be at the 120 degree to one another, and the two other bonds, that is the two other B, will be present in the axial position with a bond angle of 90 degree. So this is the stable configuration for stable geometry for AB5 type of molecule. This particular geometry is called trigonal bipyramidal. Trigonal bipyramidal. That means the 5B present in this particular molecule will be in such a way that 3B will be lying in one plane with a bond angle of 120 degree at the equatorial position, and the two B's will be lying in the axial position with a bond angle of one another with 180 degree and one of these two with 90 degree. For example, PCl5 molecule, phosphorus pentachloride. Okay, PCl5 molecule. Next, for the compounds with the form of AB6. AB6 type of molecule will be in octahedral geometry. Octahedral geometry, where four of the six B's will be in lying plane. So if you consider this as the plane of the molecule, so four atoms of B will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, 2 will be towards you and 2 will be away from you, and the two B's present on up and down will be present over here and down over there. Okay, so this is the type of AB6 type of molecule of geometry, octahedral. Octahedral. Example, SF6. Example, SF6. So these are the compounds which have no lone pair. These are the shapes of the molecules which have no lone pair of electrons. Okay, these are the shape of the molecules which have no lone pair of electrons. Next, we are going to discuss about the shape of the molecules with lone pair of electrons, and also why is there certain tendency in case of the shuffling between the lone pair of electrons in the next class. Since this video is going to be longer, we are going to split it into two. In the next video, we will be discussing about the shape of the molecules which have lone pair of electrons in the central metal atom, and also we are going to discuss about the reason for that particular variation in the next video. Thank you for watching.